I've earned 30 plus certifications, and I'm here to guide you to success on your exam. Welcome to the Ultimate MS-700 Exam Masterclass. Are you ready to crack the MS-700 exam in one go? You're in the right place. In this session, we'll arm you with powerful insights and hand-picked questions that can make all the difference in your exam performance. We've scanned the web using intelligent crawlers to gather the most critical and high-impact questions, all compiled into one powerful PDF resource. You can download it from the link in the description. Not only will we explore these must-practice questions, but we'll also share real exam experiences and pro tips to give you that competitive edge. Let's dive into the key questions that could shape your success. Question 1. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E5 license. The company has several departments. You have configured a private team for each of the departments. You configure an additional private team named managers. The managers team will contain all departmental managers. You need to ensure that the managers team is not viewable in the suggested teams list. What should you do? A. Modify the member permissions for the managers team. B. Configure a new app permission policy. C. Modify the team discovery options for the managers team. D. Select the hide option for the managers team. Correct answer, C. Modify the team discovery options for the managers team. Explanation. Discovery options control visibility in suggested teams. Hiding ensures the team is private and only accessible to invited members. Question 2. You have a Microsoft 365 subscription that uses Microsoft Teams. You plan to implement Microsoft Teams rooms. The solution must meet the following requirements. Support Microsoft Teams rooms, Microsoft Surface Hub, and collaboration bars for Microsoft Teams. Ensure that Microsoft manages firmware and application updates for room systems and peripherals. Ensure that Microsoft monitors and troubleshoots room system and peripherals. Which license should you purchase? A. Advanced Communications. B. Microsoft Teams Rooms Premium. C. Microsoft Teams Rooms Standard. D. Microsoft 365 Business Voice. Correct answer B. Microsoft Teams Rooms Premium. Explanation. Teams Rooms Premium provides management, monitoring, and update services. It ensures Microsoft handles system health and updates. Question 3. You work as a Microsoft 365 administrator for your company. All users have Microsoft 365 licenses. Users frequently collaborate by using private chats in Microsoft Teams. You need to ensure that a single user is unable to permanently delete private chats. Which of the following should you configure? A. The user's Microsoft 365 license options in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. B. A meeting policy in Microsoft Teams. C. A litigation hold on the user's mailbox. D. A sensitivity label in the Security and Compliance Admin Center. Correct answer, C. A litigation hold on the user's mailbox. Explanation. Litigation hold preserves all chats and messages. It prevents deletion and ensures data is always retained. Question 4. You have a Microsoft 365 subscription that uses Microsoft Teams and 300 Microsoft Teams certified IP phones. You need to locate, group, and filter the IP phones based on keywords. What should you use? A. Device tags. B. Reporting labels. C. A configuration profile. D. A label policy. Correct answer A. Device tags. Explanation. Device tags help group and manage devices logically. They make it easy to search, filter, and organize Teams phones. Question 5. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has departments named Sales, Accounts, Research, and Production. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E5 license. You have configured a team for each of the departments. Currently, users in any department can use Microsoft Teams to communicate with users from any other department. You need to configure the environment to ensure that users in the research team can only communicate with other users in the research team by using Microsoft Teams. What should you do? A. Configure a Teams meeting policy. B. Configure information barrier policies. C. Configure an app protection policy. D. Configure conference bridges. Correct answer B. Configure information barrier policies. Explanation. Information barriers restrict communication between groups. It ensures research users only chat within their team. Question 6. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has several departments. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E5 license. You have configured a team for each of the departments. You need to ensure that you are notified if a user creates a new team by using the Create a Team option in the Microsoft Teams client. Which of the following actions should you perform? A. Configure the external collaboration settings in the Azure Active Directory Admin Center. B. Configure a supervision policy in the Security and Compliance Admin Center. C. Configure an e-discovery case in the Security and Compliance Admin Center. D. Configure an alert policy in the Security and Compliance Admin Center. Correct answer D. Configure an alert policy in the Security and Compliance Admin Center. Explanation. Alert policies notify admins of key events. This ensures you're informed when new teams are created. Question 7. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E5 license. A user named User1 has the Microsoft Teams desktop client on his Windows 10 client computer. User1 reports several problems when using Microsoft Teams. You need to view the debug logs on User1's computer. Which of the following actions should you perform to generate the debug logs? A. Press the following key combination, Ctrl+Alt+Shift+1. B. Right-click on the Teams icon and select Get Logs. C. Use Windows Event Viewer and browse to the application log. D. Run a usage report in the Teams Admin Center. Correct answer A. Press the following key combination, Ctrl+Alt+Shift+1. Explanation. The keyboard shortcut Ctrl+Alt+Shift+1 captures Teams debug logs. These logs help troubleshoot issues quickly. Question 8. Your company has a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E5 license. All users use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. A manager wants to be able to view the Microsoft Teams usage reports. You need to assign the manager permission to view the usage reports. The solution must use the principle of least privilege. Which of the following actions should you perform? A. Assign the team's communications administrator role to the manager. B. Assign the security administrator role to the manager. C. Assign the reports reader role to the manager. D. Assign the compliance manager role to the manager. Correct answer, C. Assign the reports reader role to the manager. Explanation. The reports reader role grants access to usage reports only. It follows least privilege by limiting unnecessary rights. Question 9. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E5 license. All users in the company use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. Users report that a team has been deleted in Microsoft Teams. The team was available yesterday. You need to restore the deleted team. Which tool should you use? A. The Microsoft Teams Admin Center. B. The Microsoft Teams Client app. C. The Azure Active Directory Admin Center. D. The Exchange Online Admin Center. Correct answer, C. The Azure Active Directory Admin Center. Explanation. Teams are backed by Microsoft 365 groups. Restoring a deleted group in Azure AD recovers the deleted team. Question 10. Your company has a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E5 license. All users use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. An Office 365 group contains 300 users including 50 guest accounts. A Microsoft team has been created from the group. You need to ensure that the group contains only members and guest accounts that require access to the group. Any members or guest accounts that are either inactive or no longer require access to the group should be removed. The solution must ensure that group membership is validated every month. Which of the following should you configure? A. A conditional access policy. B. A supervision policy. C. An access review. D. A Teams policy. Correct answer, C. An access review? Explanation. Access reviews automatically validate group membership. They ensure only required users retain access each cycle. Question 11. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365, and all users have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. The company network includes Windows Server 2019 servers that host a virtual desktop infrastructure, VDI. All company users use the Microsoft Teams desktop client in non-persistent virtual desktops. Microsoft has released an update to the Microsoft Teams client that includes several new features. You need to ensure that all virtual desktop users are able to use the updated Microsoft Teams clients. Which of the following actions should you perform? A. Configure the Teams upgrade policy with the Upgrade to Teams setting. B. Uninstall the Microsoft Teams MSI package from the VM image and install the latest version. C. Configure a group policy object to deploy the latest version of the Microsoft Teams client. D. Configure Windows updates on the servers hosting the VDI. Correct answer, B. Uninstall the Microsoft Teams MSI package from the VM image and install the latest version. Explanation. Non-persistent VDI requires updating the base image. Reinstalling the latest Teams MSI ensures users get the new version. Question 12. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The network includes an Active Directory domain and 200 client computers that run Windows 10. All client computers are joined to the on-premises Active Directory domain and registered with Azure Active Directory. The company has a Microsoft 365 subscription that includes Microsoft Intune. All client computers are enrolled in Microsoft Intune. You need to deploy the Microsoft Teams client to the client computers. Which two of the following deployment methods could you use? Choose two. A. Configure a conditional access policy in Azure Active Directory. B. Configure an app in Microsoft Intune. C. Configure an Active Directory Group Policy Object GPO. D. Configure an app registration in Azure Active Directory. E. Configure a collection in Azure Active Directory. Correct answer, B and C. Configure an app in Microsoft Intune. Configure an Active Directory Group Policy Object GPO. Explanation. Teams can be deployed using Intune apps or group policy. Both support large-scale controlled installations. Question 13. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a main office in New York and 20 branch offices in North America. Some of the branch offices are in locations with low bandwidth internet connectivity. The company has a Microsoft 365 subscription. All users in the company have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. All users in the main office use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. You want to roll out Microsoft Teams to all branch office users. However, you are concerned about the branch office's internet connectivity. You plan to test Microsoft Teams call quality with test users in the branch offices. Which of the following tools should you use to view the packet loss during Microsoft Teams calls to the branch offices? A. Microsoft Teams Usage Report. B. Microsoft Teams Call Quality Dashboard. C. Microsoft Teams Device Usage Report. D. Microsoft Network Testing Companion. Correct answer B. Microsoft Teams Call Quality Dashboard. Explanation. The Call Quality Dashboard tracks metrics like packet loss and latency. It provides insights into Teams call performance. Question 14. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. Most users currently use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. However, several users still use Microsoft Skype for Business Online for collaboration. You plan to migrate all users to Microsoft Teams. You need to configure the environment to ensure that Microsoft Teams is downloaded and installed in the background for all Microsoft Skype for Business users. Which of the following actions should you perform? A. Configure the Teams upgrade settings in the Microsoft Teams Admin Center. B. Configure the external access settings in the Microsoft Teams Admin Center. C. Configure an app setup policy in the Microsoft Teams Admin Center. D. Configure an app permission policy in the Microsoft Teams Admin Center. Correct answer A. Configure the Teams upgrade settings in the Microsoft Teams Admin Center. Explanation. Teams upgrade settings allow automatic background installation. It ensures a smooth migration from Skype to Teams. Question 15. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has recently purchased a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E5 license. You have deployed Microsoft Teams to all users in the company. Several teams and channels have been configured. External contractors can access Microsoft Teams using guest accounts. You need to configure the environment to ensure that no files containing malware can be opened from Microsoft Teams channels by either company users or external contractors. Which of the following should you configure? A. Sensitivity labels. B. Advanced threat protection. C. Protected identity management. D. Conditional access policy. Correct answer B. Advanced threat protection. Explanation. Microsoft Defender for Office 365, ADP, scans and blocks malware. It ensures safe file sharing inside Teams. Question 16. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a main office in New York and 20 branch offices in North America. Some of the branch offices are in locations with low bandwidth internet connectivity. The company has a Microsoft 365 subscription. All users in the company have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. All users use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. You deploy quality of service (QoS) due to branch office users reporting occasional poor call quality when using Microsoft Teams. You need to confirm that QoS is being applied at the branch offices. Which of the following should you use? A. Microsoft Network Monitor. B. Microsoft Network Testing Companion. C. Microsoft Teams Device Usage Report. D. Microsoft Teams Call Quality Dashboard. Correct answer A. Microsoft Network Monitor. Explanation. Network Monitor verifies packet tagging for QoS. It confirms that Teams traffic is prioritized correctly. Question 17. You work as a Microsoft 365 administrator for your company. All users have Microsoft 365 E3 licenses. All users use Microsoft Skype for Business Online for collaboration. You plan to migrate all users to Microsoft Teams. You need to ensure that users can use both Microsoft Skype for Business Online and Microsoft Teams during the migration period. You need to configure the Teams upgrade settings to ensure that users can use Skype for Business for chats and calls only. Which of the following PowerShell commandlets should you run? A. Grant CS Teams Upgrade Policy name SFB with Teams Collab and Meeting. B. Grant CS Teams Upgrade Policy name Islands. C. Grant CS Teams Upgrade Policy name SFB with Teams Collab. D. Grant CS Teams Upgrade Policy name SF Boundly. Correct answer A. Grant CS Teams Upgrade Policy name SFB with Teams Collab and Meeting. Explanation. The SFB with Teams Collab and Meeting policy allows calls in Skype. Teams is enabled for collaboration and meetings. Question 18. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a main office in New York and 20 branch offices in North America. Some of the branch offices are in locations with low bandwidth internet connectivity. The company has a Microsoft 365 subscription. All users in the company have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. All users in the main office use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. You want to roll out Microsoft Teams to all branch office users. However, you are concerned about the branch office's internet connectivity. You need to verify that the branch offices have enough bandwidth to support audio and video conferencing using Microsoft Teams. Which of the following should you use? A. Microsoft Network Planner. B. Microsoft Teams Call Quality Dashboard. C. Microsoft Network Monitor. D. Microsoft Network Testing Companion. Correct answer A. Microsoft Network Planner. Explanation. Network Planner calculates bandwidth needs. It helps assess if branch sites can support Teams calls and meetings. Question 19. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has recently purchased a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in the company have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. You plan to deploy Microsoft Teams to all company users. You need to ensure that only company managers can create teams in Microsoft Teams. Which of the following should you do first? A. Add all the managers to a Microsoft team. B. Add all the managers to a universal distribution group. C. Add all the managers to an Office 365 group. D. Add all the managers to a universal security group. Correct answer, C. Add all the managers to an Office 365 group. Explanation. Team creation rights are tied to Office 365 groups. Adding managers to a group lets them control team creation. Question 20. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has recently purchased a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in the company have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. The company has a large sales department. You plan to deploy Microsoft Teams to users in the sales department. You need to create a team in Microsoft Teams for the sales department users. Users should automatically be added to the team when they join the sales department. Users who leave the sales department should automatically be removed from the team. Which of the following actions should you perform first? A. Create a dynamic distribution group and configure a membership rule for the group. B. Create an Azure Active Directory security group and add the sales users to the group. C. Create an Office 365 group and configure a membership rule for the group. D. Create a new team by using the New Team PowerShell command. Correct answer, C. Create an Office 365 group and configure a membership rule for the group. Explanation. Dynamic Office 365 groups automate membership. They ensure the sales team always matches department members. Question 21. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365, and all users have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. All users use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. A company's security policy has the following requirement. All files used in personal chats or team collaborations must be retained for a minimum of 1 year. You need to configure a retention policy to meet the security requirement. Which 2 locations should you apply the retention policy to? Choose 2. A. OneDrive accounts. B. Exchange email. C. Teams chat. D. SharePoint sites. E. Teams channel messages. Correct answer A and D. OneDrive accounts. SharePoint sites. Explanation. Teams files are stored in OneDrive and SharePoint. Retention must apply to both storage locations. Question 22. You work as a Microsoft 365 administrator for your company. All users have Microsoft 365 E3 licenses. All users use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. A company's security policy has the following requirements. Meeting presenters must be unable to share their entire screen in meetings. Meeting presenters must be able to share a single application window in meetings. You need to configure the system to meet the security requirements. Which of the following actions should you perform? A. Modify the meeting settings. B. Modify the default live events policy. C. Modify the default meeting policy. D. Modify the live event settings. Correct answer, C. Modify the default meeting policy. Explanation. Meeting policies control sharing options. Limiting presenters to apps only enforces the security rule. Question 23. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. All users use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. You need to prevent all users except managers from sending messages marked as urgent. Managers must be able to send messages marked as urgent. Which 2 of the following actions should you perform? Choose 2. A. Configure a new permission policy and apply it to the managers. B. Configure a new messaging policy and apply it to the managers. C. Modify the default permission policy. D. Modify the default messaging policy. Correct answer, B and D. Configure a new messaging policy and apply it to the managers. Modify the default messaging policy. Explanation. Messaging policies manage features like urgent messaging. Customizing them allows only managers to send urgent messages. Question 24. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. All users use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. Users in the marketing department often host live events in Microsoft Teams for large audiences. Users report that internet performance is poor during the live events. You discover that the live events consume a large amount of internet bandwidth. You need to reduce the internet bandwidth consumed during the live events. Which of the following should you configure? A. Microsoft Phone System. B. An Enterprise Content Delivery Network (ECDN) provider. C. Cloud Video Interop. D. A SIP provider. Correct answer B. An enterprise content delivery network (ECDN) provider. Explanation: ECDN optimizes live event streaming. It reduces duplicate traffic and minimizes internet bandwidth usage. Question 25. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. You plan to host live events in Microsoft Teams. You discover that external users are unable to access the live events. Company users and users with guest accounts are able to access the live events. You need to configure the system to allow external users without guest accounts to access the live events. Which of the following should you configure? A. The external access org-wide settings. B. The default meeting policy. C. The live event settings. D. The default live events policy. Correct answer D. The default live events policy. Explanation: the default live events policy defines who can join. Allowing anonymous access enables external users to participate. Question 26. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has recently purchased a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. You are in the process of configuring Microsoft Teams. You need to restrict the companies that users can communicate with to 5 supplier companies. You have a list of email domains used by the supplier companies. Which of the following actions should you configure? A. The external access settings. B. The guest access settings. C. A messaging policy. D. The org-wide Teams settings. Correct answer A. The external access settings. Explanation: external access controls federation with domains. Adding allowed supplier domains restricts communication accordingly. Question 27. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E5 license. All users use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. Several teams and channels have been configured. A team used by users in the product design department contains guest accounts. External designers work with users in the product design department and access the team and channels using the guest accounts. The external designers report that they are unable to access files used in Microsoft Teams meetings or chats. You need to enable the external designers to access the files. Which of the following actions should you perform? A. Modify the guest access settings in Microsoft Teams. B. Modify the external access settings in Microsoft Teams. C. Modify the default meeting policy in Microsoft Teams. D. Configure the external sharing settings in Microsoft SharePoint Online. Correct answer D. Configure the external sharing settings in Microsoft SharePoint Online. Explanation: Teams stores files in SharePoint Online. External sharing must be enabled in SharePoint for guest access. Question 28. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has a subscription to Microsoft 365 that includes phone system. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. You plan to configure an auto attendant. The auto attendant will have a nested auto attendant. The nested auto attendant will be used to provide a second-level menu that the first-level auto attendant can connect calls to depending on the options selected by the caller. You need to configure the auto attendants and required resources. Which of the following actions should you perform? A. Create 2 auto attendants, then create 1 resource account. B. Create 1 resource account, then create 2 auto attendants. C. Create 2 auto attendants, then create 2 resource accounts. D. Create 2 resource accounts, then create 2 auto attendants. Correct answer D. Create 2 resource accounts, then create 2 auto attendants. Explanation: Each auto attendant requires its own resource account. 2 attendants need 2 separate resource accounts. Question 29. You work as a systems administrator for your company. The company has recently purchased a subscription to Microsoft 365. All users in your company have a Microsoft 365 E3 license. You are in the process of configuring Microsoft Teams. A company's security policy states that users must not be able to add apps to Microsoft Teams. You need to configure Microsoft Teams to meet this security requirement. What should you configure? A. The Global App Permission Policy. B. The Global Teams Policy. C. The org-wide Teams settings. D. The Global App Setup Policy. Correct answer A. The Global App Permission Policy. Explanation. App permission policies control app installation. Blocking permissions prevents users from adding new apps. Question 30. You work as a Microsoft 365 administrator for your company. All users have Microsoft 365 E5 licenses. All users use Microsoft Teams for collaboration. You upload a custom app to Microsoft Teams. The custom app will be used by all users in the company. You need to ensure that the custom app appears at the top of the app bar in Microsoft Teams. Which of the following actions should you perform? A. Configure the Global App Setup Policy. B. Create a configuration profile. C. Configure the Global App Permission Policy. D. Configure the Global Teams Policy. Correct answer A. Configure the Global App Setup Policy. Explanation. App Setup Policies pin apps for users. Setting it globally ensures the custom app appears in everyone's Teams bar. Please revise full PDF 2 to 3 times for 100% success. Check the description for the PDF download link and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for upcoming episodes. Thank you.